Having arranged to leave London by the 5:45 p.m. train to Tossett-Offington, Claude Lyon arrived some 10 minutes before its departure. It gave him just enough time to buy the latest edition of the Manly Vitality pictorial from the bookstand on the platform, for want of a distraction on his journey, then climb aboard, store his portmanteau and carpet bag stuffed with Christmas packages on the overhead luggage rack, and settle himself down in an empty first-class smoking carriage. His office was closed for the duration. With his London apartment secured, he was heading to the family seat to spend the festive period with his closest relatives. More of a duty than a pleasure, as he wasn't particularly close to any of them, and his siblings' offspring would doubtless get on his nerves, as they always did. Still, the cook always provided an excellent feast. Opening the pictorial eagerly, he looked forward to indulging his appreciation of all things toned and muscular in solitude, but was to be sorely disappointed when, just as the whistle blew to announce the train's departure, a strange young gentleman entered his carriage and sat down opposite him. A young man whom, he sensed, was staring at him intensely. As the train slowly chugged its way out of the station, Lyon kept his eyes focused upon the aforementioned pictorial, lifting it so that the contents might be hidden from view. "You don't remember me, do you?" the stranger asked. Lyon raised his eyes then and regarded his observer. In the light of the carriage lamp, the first thing Lyon noted was how pale, how bloodless, the gentleman's face appeared. He was a small, delicate young man, full-lipped, violet-eyed, with an aristocratic demeanour and thick golden curls worn somewhat long upon his collar. There was an indefinable femininity about the man. One might almost describe him as beautiful. It was not the kind of face that would be easily forgotten. But as Lyon examined the young man's countenance, he had to admit to himself that he had no recollection of seeing it before. Reading the blank expression on Lyon's face, the young man continued, "But of course you do not remember me. Why would you? I never meant anything to you." "I'm terribly sorry, mister. I meet so many people in my line of business. I don't think I've ever had the pleasure." "Oh, it was never a pleasure," the young man snorted in derision. "Not to me, certainly. Smurthwaite is my name. Gilbert Smurthwaite, though you might remember me better as Specky Four Eyes." And here he took a pair of wire-rimmed glasses from his breast pocket and placed them on his nose. "That was probably the kindest epithet you ever ascribed to me." He bared his teeth in a cold parody of a smile, before replacing said glasses in his top pocket. "I no longer have need of them, however." "Specky? Specky Smurthwaite? Good Lord, man! I haven't seen you since Granville College." "Granville College, eh? Happy days." "For some, I understand. I never graduated." "Really?" "Yes, really. I had a breakdown in my final term and was placed in a sanatorium, but of course you don't remember." Eager to change the topic, Lyon asked, "And how on earth are you these days?" "Dead," Smurthwaite replied. Lyon blanched. "You don't believe me." "I must believe my eyes, sir, and you are sitting in front of me as surely as I am sitting in front of you." Again Smurthwaite bared his teeth, and slowly, very slowly, his head began to rotate on his neck a full 360 degrees, before his eyes rested again on the now mortified face of Claude Lyon. "Do you believe them still?" "I can. I must, Lyon replied, cowering back and wringing his hands. But why do spirits walk the earth? And why do they come to me? Do you believe in karma? Karma? Yes, the cycle of cause and effect. According to the theory of karma, what happens to a person happens because they caused it with their actions. My actions? Smurthwaite cast his eyes heavenward. Oh, how easily they do forget. We were boys then, Lyon protested. If I ever did you any injustice. Boys? No. I was a boy. You were a monster. I had known bullies before you, but you took it to the level of expert. You made my life a complete and utter misery. I always wondered why you hated me so much. But now I know. On this side of the veil one can see things so much more clearly. But I never hated you. Yes, you did. Men always hate the thing they fear the most. You took every opportunity to humiliate and torture me, from the very first day when you tripped me up in the refectory and sent me and my dinner flying. I suffered years of your abuse before the last night of spring term. I don't remember. How convenient. Let me remind you. That was the night you and your bully boy cronies cornered me in the basement, stripped me of all my clothing, and forced me to perform all manner of lewd and degrading acts before thrashing me to within an inch of my life. Is it any wonder I ended up in a sanatorium? And there I lingered for months. Chronic melancholia was the diagnosis. Even removed from the hated Granville, I could not escape you. For you continued to torture me every night in my dreams, and so, Lyon asked, fearing the reply. I put an end to it. Lyon gasped and began to sob. Mercy! I have none to give, Smurthwaite replied flatly. And your tears? They are wasted on me. The whistle blew as the train picked up steam. Smurthwaite grinned malevolently. I believe we're approaching the Tossett Railway Viaduct. A single structure, 3.45 miles in length. It consists of 851 semicircular arches and 27 skew arches, and stands 169 feet tall. It is, you might be interested to learn, the longest and highest run of arches in southern Britain. The idea for it came from the engineer, Colonel Thomas Walter Smurthwaite. My late grandfather, in fact. And this is where you get off. Without further ado, Smurthwaite stood and strode to the outer door of the carriage and, despite all appearances to the contrary, had strength enough to rip it from its hinges and fling it through the open aperture into the night. A blast of cold air rushed to take its place and brought with it a smattering of snowflakes that landed on the carriage floor. Lyon shrank back like a trapped animal as Smurthwaite approached. Then, faced with the inevitable, he leapt to his feet and grabbed a hold of the upper luggage rack. No, he screamed, for God's sake, no! Smurthwaite grabbed Lyon by the legs and yanked him free. His quarry fell to the floor, his ripped and bloody fingers clawing for any form of handhold, but to no avail. Finally, Smurthwaite manoeuvred his boyhood nemesis into the yawning gap, and with a lusty cry of triumph, tossed Lyon off.